That is 4 wins in a row, or 5 wins if you count our European success and our first Europa League win on Thursday evening. But it is 4 wins in the Premier League and a first clean sheet under Unai Emery. Not a convincing display at times, but in the end, a solid performance which gives Arsenal 3 more points and gives us touching distance on the top 4. And Arsenal are motoring under Unai Emery. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. These are my thoughts and feelings to the game in the Premier League at the Emirates Stadium as Arsenal hosted Everton. And I was actually really excited going into this game. Arsenal against Everton is a game which always throws in plenty of goals, shocks, surprises, and more importantly, particularly at home, Arsenal just do not lose to Everton, and as you see there, it's been about like 22 years since Everton kind of beat us last at home. But there was a spring in the air, and Everton, and I will say first and foremost that Everton were absolutely brilliant at times. Even though we won 2-0, it wasn't like a performance where Arsenal dominated or battered Everton. On the contrary, Everton, particularly in that first half, were actually better than Arsenal. They created chances, they caused us problems, and, they were, prying on our defensive frailties. And, on a different day with, maybe a more experienced striker leading the line for Everton, they certainly would have got a couple of goals, and, I'm not taking anything away from Everton. We got kind of 2 goals in very quick kind of succession, and that, ultimately just killed them off, instantly. But I think Everton actually performed rather well throughout large portions of the game, and Arsenal, and it's been since Unai Emery has come into this club, we don't play perfectly. There are still problems, and I'll talk about this in just a moment. Defensively, every time an opposition forward line go forward, I feel like we're going to concede. I have no faith or belief in our defence, whatsoever. Actually today was one of the more better defensive performances, but, early on against Everton, particularly in that first half, every time Everton went forward, I was thinking to myself, wait, shit, we're gonna concede, it's just gonna happen, so it's not perfect. We're still learning in terms of playing out from the back and still trying to adapt to the style that Unai Emery wants, but, when we get it right, it's perfect. It really is perfect. When we get things, on point, when, plans go our way, when we kind of get into space, and when it comes off, Lacazette's first goal was just absolutely incredible, and that is what the Unai Emery way can give us, and that is what Unai Emery is trying to, put onto and place onto this side. So, there were plenty of positives, still, a few negatives, but all in all, solid performance. And this was an important win, not only because it keeps this run of momentum going, but, Unai Emery has not got a clean sheet yet until today, and it was absolutely vital. In terms of the team, going on to my lineups, there was one change from the side that beat Newcastle this time last Saturday at St James's. Lucas Torreira made his full Premier League debut. Not debut as in debut, but he made his first start. He's just been coming on as, a substitute, and I've been crying out for weeks upon weeks that we need to start him. He has been one of our best players, since the start of the season, and, he started in the Europa League on Thursday. He got absolutely battered, and I thought for a moment he was actually going to be, injured. He had quite a serious injury, but, he's young, he's raw. He would just brush those kind of, injuries aside and continue to play football. And, he made his first full Premier League start today. Petr Cech back in goal. Now, I've been crying out for weeks upon weeks in Analysing Arsenal that I really want Leno to be our first choice goalkeeper, because I just don't think Cech has got it anymore. However, today, I think Petr Cech was our best player. By a country mile, by an absolute country mile, Petr Cech was our best player. He made some ridiculous saves, and without Petr Cech, we would have conceded at least, 1 or 2 goals. He showed us today why he is and how he still could be a world-class goalkeeper. His distribution today I thought was really, really good. The shots that he saved with his hand, his decision making. There was 1 or 2 moments in the early half of the first half where he did make 1 or 2 errors, but compared to the errors that he has made in previous weeks, it was much better. He's starting to learn and adapt to how Unai Emery wants him to play, and in the later stages of the second half, when the game was already wrapped up in the back, he actually started running down as an outfield player to then, hoof the ball up the field to try and kickstart a counter-attack. So, I think he was our best player today, Petr Cech. I thought he was absolutely sensational, even though Lacazette got man of the match. I believe Lacazette got man of the match. I'm not quite sure who got man of the match. I'll have to find that out. But, my personal man of the match would be Petr Cech, because I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And, it seems that Petr Cech is going to be our Premier League #1, and Horn is... Horn? Oh, I've got Horn in my Arsenal career mode. Leno is what I was meant to say. Leno is going to be our European goalkeeper. And, when that idea, when I was first thinking about that did not fill me with confidence whatsoever. However, now, if Petr Cech puts in those kind of performances week upon week upon week in the Premier League, I'll have no problems or issues with him being in goal. Other than that, unchanged side. I thought Aubameyang and Lacazette, Aubameyang had quite a quiet game, even though he got onto the score sheet. Lacazette had a brilliant game, and some of his hold-up play is just fantastic. I still wish that we had Lacazette on the left, Aubameyang on the right. The formation that Unai Emery is playing, that he has Lacazette through the middle, Aubameyang on the left, Ozil on the right. But when you're playing on, the right-hand side and the left-hand side as, more like a winger, you do have to track back, and I don't think Aubameyang is completely confident with playing in that role. I like that now Emery's accompanied and become accustomed to getting both Lacazette and Aubameyang in games. If Aubameyang wants to play down the middle, then it's either Lacazette's got to go out to the right or the left, and vice versa with Aubameyang. However, I feel like I'd love to see potentially like Ozil in the middle, and then Lacazette and Aubameyang as two strikers, almost maybe like a 4-4-2. I don't think Unai Emery is ever going to play that way, and it would be interesting to see how that works. I mean, at times Aubameyang and Lacazette do play as two strikers, with Ozil behind. Ramsey at times was drifting out to the right hand side, Ozil was coming in, but I don't think we're utilising Mesut Ozil properly when he plays out wide. I think his best position is just sitting in and behind the striker, and although during games he does move into that area, he hasn't started there, and he does start. There was a lot of times today where he was on that right hand side, and I think it's still going to be all about testing and trying out new formations and new positions. You don't want to make too many changes, because it can come back and bite you on the arse. And when you're on a good run of form, the old say goes that if it ain't broke, why would you need to fix it? So I can understand why Unai Emery's kind of trying to keep celerity and be consistent in terms of the players that he's picking, the formation that he has, and also where those players are playing in their set positions. But I think it's one of those where we could see Ozil, moving more centrally, Aubameyang coming in, matching up with Lacazette, and it's all about, testing and trialling periods, I think first half we were almost a little bit passive, really. Everton had a couple of really good opportunities, like Walcott and Ricarlison are so pacey, and we can't defend. That's been made quite clear. We cannot defend for shit. So pacey players are gonna get in, and in the early stages, Everton did, particularly Theo Walcott. I mean, I think he got in like 43 seconds or so, and it's the first half where we created chances, as did Everton, but very much like the West Ham Chelsea game that I watched, just before Arsenal's game against Everton. It's too passive, it's too easy, it's too sideways, there isn't like a real kind of, driven kind of urge to get into the box and cause problems. And I think, in relation to that, that has got to be something where when you're going forward, you've got to be direct. So many times, over this weekend, and Arsenal do it, constantly. We're all about going to the right, and then we're going into the left. We go out wide, we then switch it back, and we just, our attacking play just gets broken down more times than not, because we're constantly trying to get into wide areas and then moving out, and we're not, as direct as I'd like us to be. I want us to be more direct. I want us to be more driven. And when we are directed driven, we cause problems. I mean, Lacazette's first goal, granted he was on a little bit towards the right hand side, he wasn't central. Ball came in from Ramsey, Lacazette was just on the right hand side, but then the curl and the position that the ball came to go round, and fortune favoured the crossbar. It's one of those moments of fortune favouring the crossbar. Fortune favoured the crossbar, and as that ball went in, it hit the post, and it went, and just the post kind of fashioned it back into the back of the net. So, in that response, that was actually, a really good goal, and what a strike it was from Lacazette. Like, it was just, that could win you a game on your own, that kind of strike. And then kind of 2-3 minutes later, Aubameyang gets it on the score sheet. Now, This goal was much more questionable because Aubameyang was offside. You know, without a shadow of a doubt, Aubameyang was a good yard offside, and, you know, it all came from Everton's, you know, own making. You know, a mishap of communication between, you know, Zuma and Keane that allowed Mesut Ozil to go down the right-hand side. He actually was quite quick. He used, you know, a flash of pace to break down the right-hand side, and I generally was screaming at the telly going, you know, Ozil, shoot, do it yourself, get the goal yourself. He then passed it into Ramsey, and he kind of fucked up a little bit because Ramsey then kind of threw it all the way back, and Aubameyang just then had a tap in and slotted it into the back of the net. But Aubameyang was at least a good yard past Dink, so, you know, it was offside. I don't know what the linesman was doing. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, oh, that should have been given as an offside. But, you know, when you look at that, that was an offside. Like, that goal should not have stood. And it kind of, you know, just killed off the game, really. And then for me, you know, we were 2 goals to the good. And I kept saying, you know, we need to, we must, we have to, you know, ensure. I think the sun's just gone in now. I've just gone really, really dark. We need to keep a clean sheet. You know, it was just as important of getting the 3 points to actually, you know, keeping a clean sheet. You know, both of them were as important as each other. We had to make sure that we keep a clean sheet because you don't want to, you know, go kind of 10, 15 games into the season and not keep a clean sheet. It is important. And although it wasn't a perfect defensive performance, as I said right at the start of this video, it was one of our better ones. And, you know, it's good. I mean, you know, we've got a very nice run of games. You know, we're not playing a really big side till November. Obviously, we've got Carabao Cup action against Brentford in midweek. We've then got, I think, Watford. We've got Crystal Palace. We've got Leicester coming up. So, you know, we've got a nice run of games to keep this consistency, keep this run going. And I think, you know, Unai Emery needs to keep this starting lineup. I think for the moment, Cech has kind of proved to be over the 90 minutes of, you know, actually, you know, doing the job, really. So, you know, I'm happy with this side. I'm happy that Torreira, I think he should be up against and, you know, start over Gundazi. However, I'd like to see one time Lucas Torreira and Gundazi starting and pairing up against each other, like together. Even though I do not like Xhaka. I don't think he's good enough at all, Granit Xhaka. He has put in good performances, like today. He actually did very, very well, Granit Xhaka. So, you know, I'd like to see Gundazi and Torreira, you know, play, you know, next to each other. But apart from that, apart from, you know, maybe having Leno in for more games, that starting lineup is fine. Maybe even Kolasinac over Monreal. You know, I mean, I'm just going with my FIFA 90 Arsenal career mode. Hence why I said Horn, who I actually had in my FIFA 18 career mode when I was doing Arsenal. But I do now have Leno. I do prefer Leno over Cech just generally. But, you know, Cech today, best player for me. And a good performance. You know, this could have been a tricky game, really. Everton have got a lot of pace going forward. They don't have that, you know, star striker to really penetrate and pierce, you know, attacking teams. But, you know, they're not going to have any problems whatsoever. I do like also Marco Silva as a manager. I like to see it. You know, what I really love is you know, Unai Emery, you know, paces up and down, up and down, up and down from like minute 1 to minute 90. And he actually had a little bit of beef with Marco Silva. Lucas Torreira picked up a yellow card in the early stages. And then the second challenge that he made, which was kind of questionable. I have seen it been given as a, you know, yellow card, and that would have been a red card, but I do think it was a little bit soft. He did get the ball initially, and then, you know, Unai Emery and Marco Silva started squaring up to each other, so I was like, you know, yes, Unai, go on, son, you know, take him on. Socrates actually came off injured. He came off, and Rob Holding came on, and also when Iwobi and Welbeck came on, I think Danny Welbeck is going to be a great kind of, you know, almost like Olivier Giroud, you know, he'll come on and do a job. I think Iwobi gave us more defensive stability on that left-hand side over Aubameyang. And, you know, all in all, good performance, a solid performance, you know, not perfect by any means, but it's a step in the right direction, and, you know, we're building up points, we're getting consistency, and, you know, it's exciting times. I'd like to see, and it's going to be interesting to see what side Unai Emery disposes for our Carabao Cup run. I'd actually really like to win that this season, so, you know, I'm going to be quite interested. I really hope we take that cup competition seriously. In past years, I've not really given it the time of day, but I really want to. I want Unai Emery to win as many trophies as he can in his first season, really. And then we play Watford next Saturday. So until then, this is DJ Side Out. Take care, and I will join you for those 2 games. A midweek upload inbound. FIFA 19 content is going to be coming out in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a video video talking about my lovely uploading schedule and my plans of how none of those plans have come to fruition. But Allies and Arsenal is definitely going ahead as planned, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure to leave a like on this video if you have enjoyed, and follow me on Twitter at DJBagpuss998, and also let me know your thoughts, feelings, and all general kind of feelings in regards to Arsenal down in the comment section below. The support you guys show on this series since I've returned to do Allies and Arsenal has been absolutely amazing, so thank you so much for that, and I will rejoin you Tuesday. Till then, take care, and I shall speak to you all later. Take care, and I will see you all then.